Dod Gast Ye Both, a comedy of mountain moonshiners, by Hubert Heffner. Cast of characters:
Noah Setzer, a mountain moonshiner, read by EJWiley.
Walt, his son, an ex-member of the AEF, read by A&B Suite 13.
Mary, read by Kelly Taylor.
Bill Spivins, a rough mountaineer, read by EJWiley.
Mose, frequenter of the still and bootlegger for Noah, read by Cooke.
Sank, frequenter of the still and bootlegger for Noah, read by Jim Locke.
Laurence Abner, a revenoor, read by Todd.
Stage directions, read by Devorah Allen. Scene: a dense thicket in the mountains of North Carolina. Time: 4 o'clock in the morning, the spring of 1919. A typical mountain moonshiner's retreat in a remote cove in the mountains of western North Carolina. The whole scene is hedged in on all sides by a thicket of tall rhododendron. At the back runs a small, trickling brook which supplies the water for distilling purposes. On the left is the still proper. To the right, at the rear, the mash tub. Boards are nailed between some of the trees to form rough benches. Near the front of the stage, 3 modern high-powered rifles are stacked against a tree. The ground immediately around the still shows signs of much tramping. When the curtain rises, Walt is discovered, standing by the mash tub, leaning idly on his paddle and smoking a cigarette. Sank is stretched out on a bench at the right, fast asleep and snoring loudly. Mose sprawls on the ground near the still, smoking an old cob pipe. Mose is a heavy-set, rough mountaineer. He is dressed in a blue shirt, patched coat, and dirty khaki pants, stuffed into heavy laced boots. There is almost a week's growth of stubby beard on his face. Sank is a thin, shriveled old man of about 60 years, so bent as to appear little. He is dressed in dirty khaki trousers, blue shirt, worn coat, and heavy shoes, with blue knit socks hanging down over his shoe-tops. His beard is very scant, thin, as is his shrill, effeminate voice. Walt is a lank, lazy-looking fellow of about 22. An ex-member of the AEF, he still wears his overseas cap and military breeches. Walt, looking at his heavy turnip watch.
About 4 o'clock. Soon be through. So the cops give you a hard run of it, did they, Mose?
He stirs the mash.
Yeah, since that pro-cercerbation, they're getting tight in a rum jug. I used to could take a run of brandy out to Lenore and might you hit right out on the straits, but you can't do that no more.
Guess you took the preachers their half-gallon per, all right, did you?
Mose, speaking with a drawl between the puffs of his pipe.
Yeah, ever sanctified one of 'em. They can't preach their hellfire and brimstone sermons if they ain't got the fire of spirits. It's about time the old man's comin' back. He had time to send in the watches, and he seemed to be so anxious to finish up and go home. You'd better get to stirring that mash.
Walt, smoking idly.
Well, Mary meet the old man if she went by the back way. What you reckon she came for anyway, Mose? 'Tain't nothing here she wanted this time of night, and she didn't get nothing.
Don't know.
He puffs his pipe a moment.
Walt, ever since that revenoor's come to these parts, I don't like for your old man to send in the watches like he allus diz before, till we get the run off.
Well, but I don't reckon that's any danger. He's been at it for about 40 years and hain't got took yet. I'll say something to him about it before long.
You'd better not tonight. The old man's mad as a hornet tonight. Everything's gone wrong, and he's a-bawlin' over.
You needn't worry. I know thy old man better than that.
There is a sound of heavy footsteps outside as Noah stumbles in the thicket and mutters an oath.
That's him, coming now. Don't you say a word about Mary's being here, hey?
Yeah, but some of these nights he's going to send in the watches too early for the last time.
Don't reckon so. But if he does, then revenoor.
The sound of tramping draws nearer, and Noah stamps heavily in. He is a stocky mountaineer, 65 years of age, heavy-set, active, and muscular. He wears dirty breeches, stained with mash, rough-laced boots, a worn hunter's coat, and blue shirt. His bushy gray hair sticks through the torn crown of the old hat, which he wears jammed down on his head. His face is covered with a stubby gray beard. He looks crabbed and sullen. Sank snores on. Mose smokes in silence. As Noah enters, Walt stirs the mash industriously, but he stops and leans lazily on his paddle as the old man goes to the still and begins fussing with the fire, muttering to himself. Noah glares at him several times, then bursts out,
"Walt, darn your lazy hide. Stir that mash and get a move on you."
Oui, monsieur. But, Pa, what you want to rush so far? I'll give this mess ready toot sweet, for you're ready for it.
Stop your darn toot sweetin' and get to work. How the devil you expect to get this run done 'fore morning if you ain't a-going to work?
Noah continues to work at the still. Walt stirs the mash for a few moments, and then leans idly on his paddle once more. Mose, still sprawling on the ground.
T'other night, like I was telling you, Walt, when I was coming back from taking that run of brandy down to Lenore, I heard that man Abner had been kind of hanging round with your sis Mary.
Who told you that?
He pokes his mash paddle at Sank's nose.
Wake up that scent. Fall out.
Walt laughs. Sank sleepily strikes at the paddle and begins to yawn and stretch.
I heard it down Patterson when I was coming back, but I disrelect who told it.
Repeat, mademoiselle. Did I hear that, Pa?
Noah works on, sullenly refusing to answer. Sank is now sufficiently awake to catch the last remark.
Hear what, Walt? Hear what you say?
Hear Mary's been carrying on with that Abner. You heard it.
Yes, Walt, that's right. So 'tis. I hear Jenkins, the post office man down to Patterson, says he that this here Abner was a revenoor, for he got letters from the giverment, so he did, and that he's a carrying on with Mary, so he was.
Noah, unable to remain silent any longer, turns and glares at Sank.
That's a ding-busted lie.
Nah, 'tain't, Pa. I seed Mary talking to him.
Then why in hell didn't you?
'Twon't do, Pa. I thought about it, but I lied when they took me to camp that it was beaucoup hell to pay for getting one o' his kind. Then over there in France one time.
That darn France. Hit don't make a dang what you larned in France. Hit's a-going down the ridge thar that this here Abner's a revenoor.
Parlez-vous. How'd you get like that, Pa?
Noah again turns to his work in surly silence.
Say, Pa, are you sure of that?
Noah refuses to answer, and Walt points to him, laughing.
That measure no parley, Francais.
He picks up a can of liquor near him and drinks from it, then offers it to Mose and Sank. Both refuse.
Too early in the morning to drink. Want my liquor in the daytime or in the fore part of the night. 'Bout time Bill would come for his liquor.
Yes, it be, and it be. He ought to soon be here.
Bill's old woman said that Mary was purty well took with that Abner feller.
She must be, yes, she be. My old woman said that Bill's old woman said that Mary sees a right smart of that feller.
How'd you know Mary sees him?
I heard said that Mary meets him in the daytime when you're sleeping, Noah.
Yes, she do, and she do.
Pa, do you hear that?
Noah, unable to hold in any longer, now bursts out in a rage.
Dod Gast her devilish soul. Gal of mine carrying on with a revenoor. She ain't been the same since she came back from that thar ding-busted school over thar to Boone. Dod burn her darn hide. I's allus agin her going over thar. but her ma sent her and then laid down and died on me and left her for me to tend to.
You ain't tended to her much, Pa. You be tending to this hair most of your time.
Noah furiously.
Who in hell axed you to speak? Stir that mash, damn you. Stir that mash.
Walt goes to work as Noah fumes on.
So you think I'd let a gal of mine marry one of them dang revenoors, do you?
No, Pa, but...
Shut up, darn you. Shut up.
Stamping about in a rage.
I'd see her in hell first.
That's right, Noah. So 'tis, I don't blame ye. So I don't, so I...
Noah turning on him.
Shut up. Who axed you to speak?
Sank fawningly.
Well, Noah,
Shut up, I said. What are you doing here anyhow?
You told us to come and get this run of liquor to take to Patterson, so you did.
How you going to expect me to get this run off and ye and Mose setting around running your mouths? Get that thar bucket and go fotch some water. If an I's as ding busted lazy as the rest of ye, I never would get enough juice made for them thar judges and lawyers, not to say nothing about them preachers.
Mose and Sank hurry off with a bucket. Noah continues to fume around the still.
Pa, the other day, when we were talking about that man, Abner, being a revenoor, Mary comes in and says that he wasn't no revenoor, and that he's some kind of old magazine scribbler, or something, and we asked her how'd she know it, and she said she's guess not he weren't.
Noah pays no attention to him. Mose and Sank enter with the water.
Yeah, that's so 'tis, for Mary told my old woman that you always telling lies about that thar man, Abner. She did, so she did, and she said that Abner's a better man than any of us'uns. She did, so she did.
Noah breaking out.
Consarn you, bring that dar water here.
He grabs the bucket.
What you standing thar for?
He goes to pour the water into the still, but in his anger he spills it on the fire, almost putting it out. He turns on Sank furiously.
Dod ye, Sank. Dod Gast, ye goozle-necked old fool, ye. What you going and putting that thar fire out for? Ding bust ye, you're...
Sank cringing.
I didn't put it out, Noah, so I...
Noah sputtering.
Ye humduzzled?
Sank shrinking from him.
Leastwise, I didn't go fur to do it, Noah, so I didn't.
Pa, yeah, put the fire on yourself, and...
Shut up, ye wing-duzzled yaller boomy, ye ain't no better'n your sis. Both of ye be a bunch of cowards, and ye...
Oh, la, sweet papa.
Dod Gast ye, stop that there la-line and pop-ine, or I'll wring your neck.
Pa, I didn't go for two.
Shut up them jaws of yourn. You hear me?
No, my old woman said that there gal of yourn went plumb down to the rock to meet that there Abner, and...
Ding dang her, I'm a-going home right now and see if she'll...
He starts off right, just as 3 owl hoots ring out in the distance, followed by a shrill bob white. Noah hesitates a moment.
There comes Bub his brandy. That's his call. I'll give him the come on. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
He returns the call. Bill singing drunkenly as he approaches from the left.
Way up on Clinch Mountain, I wander alone. I'm as drunk as the devil, oh, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry and drink when I'm dry. And if whiskey don't kill me, I live till I die. Oh, Lulu, oh, Lulu, oh, Lulu, my dear, I'd give this whole world if Lulu was here. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old. You robbed my poor pockets of silver and gold.
Aha! Drunk again.
Bill, he enters from the left. Bill Spivins is a rough, careless mountaineer. He wears clothes of the same drab tone as those of the other men. His big, bloated face marks him as a heavy drinker, and he shows in his singing and in his speech the effects of his liquor. He calls after Noah.
Hey there, Noah. Where you be a-goin'? I want to get my brandy afore you leave. You done and sent your watchers in, ain't you? Where be you a-goin'?
Noah, coming back.
That Dod Gast gal of mine been carrying on with that thar damn revenoor, Abner, and I just started to give her hell and make her stop it. A gal of mine carrying on with a revenoor.
It must be so, then. I been down the ridge, and when I come back, my old woman said that your gal Mary was a-carrying on with him.
What else did you say, Bill? Mary lots tells you of and everything.
Well, she said that Mary said that this here Abner wa'n't no revenoor, and that she had met him over thar to Boone.
She's a lying. That Abner gets letters from the government.
And he ain't never been to Boone. He's a furriner in these parts, and he's a ding-busted revenoor.
My old woman says Mary wants to run off with him, but she's scared to, for she knows what you do, Noah, and she says he ain't no revenoor, and she's going to show us he ain't, and that she's a-going to marry him.
Dod Gast her, I'll be the one to say about that. My gal run off with a revenoor? No, by the holy damn, I'll see her in hell first.
My old woman says that Mary was just like her ma, and that she's up to something now, and if you didn't watch out, she'd marry that revenoor yet.
Yes, she will, Noah, so she will. Ye'd better watch her so ye had.
Shut up, Sank, you ding-busted old jayhawk, ye. Shut up.
My old woman said that your old woman allus had her way 'fore she died, and that she didn't listen to you when she didn't want.
Dod Gast your old woman. She's allus saying too much. Give me your jug.
He takes the jug, fills it, and hands it back to Bill.
Don't you forget to bring me them taters to pay for this. You owe me 2 bushels now.
My old woman said that man Abner's up in these parts today, and that your gal met him over to the rock, and that she believed they's up to something. Mary ain't been home today. You better watch her, Noah. She'll get you yet.
Dad burn you, get out of here. A gal of mine and a revenoor get me. You ding-busted yaller-livered fool, get out. Ain't I the best man on this side of the ridge? Ain't I boss here?
Yes, ye be, Noah, so ye be.
Bill reels out with his jug.
Noah, t'other night down to Curtis's store, I heard that Abner was sent here by the government to get you for killing the other revenoor a few years ago.
Noah, startled.
What's that? What are you saying, Mose? You're a liar. That's what you are. You're a liar, I say. You're...
Stop that, Noah. I's giving you straight talk, and you ain't to be calling me a liar. I don't have to work for you, and I ain't going to.
Noah, more calmly.
I didn't mean it exactly like that, Mose. But...
That's the truth, Noah. Old man Jenkins told hisself.
Yes, it be, so it be. I heard it myself, so I did.
Ha, that's why he been hanging around Mary. He's trying to pick her out of her, so he can't get us. And he's caught her. That's it.
At this moment, Mary Setzer carefully peers through the rhododendron branches at the right. She is a pretty mountain girl, simply dressed in a plain but becoming pink gingham. Without having been seen, she withdraws noiselessly into the bushes again.
Gol ding her, she ain't got no more sense than to let him catch her and then let him be hanging round to spy and learn all he can.
Pa, hadn't we better skip and get out of this?
And leave all this and be scared to come back to get it? No, I ain't going to let no revenoor run me. They ain't never done it yet, and they ain't never going to do it. I'll go down there to Patterson's tomorrow, and I'll take old Beck over there,
pointing to his rifle.
And I'll fix this here Dod Gasted ding-fuzzled revenoor like I did t'othern. And then I'll take that gal of mine.
Noah is interrupted by Laurence Abner, who breaks through the thicket at the right, followed by Mary Setzer, who keeps a safe distance in the rear, yet is on the alert, ready to assist him if necessary. Abner is a good-looking young man, trimly dressed in clothes suitable for mountain wear. Abner, firing a shot and then covering the moonshiners with a pistol.
Hands up, gents.
They turn, startled. Walt and Mose spring toward the rifles, but Abner stops them.
None of that, gents. It'll mean death if you try it again.
Dod Gast you.
First time a revenoor ever had the ups on you, isn't it? Now, gents, kindly move over to this side and remove your coats so I may see that you are not armed.
The men obey his orders as he motions them over to the left with his pistols.
No tricks, remember. I learned to shoot pretty straight in the army.
Want to shoot in the army, huh? Well, that ain't nothing. Voila, over there in France, I captured about 40 butchers, 3 big old rumble-button guns, and a dozen more rifles, and...
Mary, advancing.
Oh, now, Walt, you wasn't near up at the shooting line. You said you peeled taters all the time.
Parley, whippy, dolly, doodle-doo. Ere you hear, sis? Well, yes. Watch the old man.
Noah, seeing Mary.
Dod Gasty gal, ding damn you. Here's that damned old jay-pipe and horn frog what you been hanging around with. You see now if he ain't a revenoor, don't you? Dad burn your humduzzled soul. Consarn the dod-limbed hide of you. You see where your paw is, do you? Damn you. I'll fix you.
He starts toward Mary, but Abner motions him back with his pistol.
Hold on there. You want to be careful and not forget that I've got you at present, and the law doesn't deal any too lightly with your kind, especially since Prohibition.
Walt slinks around behind the mash tub and picks up a club. The revenoor is occupied watching Noah, and Walt steals closer to him, while the old man rages.
Damn you, you yellerback tater bug you. You got me now, but you just wait. What you going to do with us?
What would you give me to let you off?
Noah, surprised.
What? What's that you say?
Walt has now crept up close behind Abner. He raises his club and springs forward, but Mary seizes his arm.
Don't try nothing like that, Walt. It won't work.
Noah, regaining his voice. He sputters in his uncontrolled rage.
Ding damn you. Dod Gast you consarn you, damn you. You be helping this here revenoor to take your own paw. So that's what you come here for, you darn yeller boomer, you devilish dog. You allus was just like your ma. You said he want no revenoor, so you did. Well, you lied, gal. You lied, and I get you.
Hold on a minute. You seem to forget that I've got you all just at present, and I'm likely to keep you. But just for the fun of knowing, what would you give me to let you go?
Ding bust you, by that rotten mash over there.
Don't swear by the mash. I've captured it, too.
So he has, Noah, so he has.
Dad darn you, Sank. Damn you, Walt. If you do something, if you drag him off, he wouldn't be standing there with his gun drawn on us. But you stand there running your clop-trop mouths and doing nothing. Why don't you...
Holy sense of sweet-smelling acidity. Why don't you do hate yourself, Pa?
Here now, let's come to business. If you're not going to make me an offer, I'll make you one. If you'll let me marry your daughter, we'll call this off. What do you say?
Noah, amazed.
What's that?
Beginning to understand, he stamps the ground in a rage and advances toward Abner, who motions him back with his pistols.
Marry my gal? A revenoor marry my gal? You dod-gasted polecat, you ding-busted stinking possum skunk. You bow-legged tater-bug, you. I'll see you in Hex old Pinefield 20 miles t'other side of hell first. I'll...
Just a minute before you go on. Listen to this. If I take you down the ridge, as I certainly will if you don't do as I say, think of the days in prison. You're an old man, and you would probably die there between the walls, behind the bars. People would come to see you, and point their fingers through the bars at you as they do the animals of the circus, and they'd say, 'There's Noah Setzer. He used to be the leader on this side of the ridge, but a revenoor gets them all, and one got him.' Then there'll be your son and all these other fellows in cages beside you."
That's right, Noah. So 'tis, so 'tis. He'll take us all, so he will, and...
Shut up, you.
And then there's another thing I want to tell you before I take you. I have the proof that you and your son were the men who killed the revenue officers 4 years ago. At your trial, I shall turn the evidence against you both. That means death for you.
What's that?
Just think. They'll lead you, the boss of the ridge, in like a cow and sit you down in a chair. And then they'll turn on just enough juice to burn you and let you know how it feels. Then gradually they'll turn it on full force, and your bones will snap and it'll cook the flesh off your live body.
Give him your gal, Noah, give him your gal.
Mary, glancing at Abner with a smile.
Pa, he's got you, so you'd better give in. If you don't, just think what the Ridge'll say when he takes you to jail. You'll be the only Setzer they've ever got yet. I'm willing to marry him, and if you'll let me, it'll save us all. I'm going to marry him anyhow.
Well, marry him, then. Damn you both.
Abner, lowering his pistol and laughing.
Thank you, Mr. Setzer.
Damn you. Don't Mr. me, and I don't want none of your thanks.
To Mary and Abner, who are now both convulsed with laughter.
What are you laughing at?
Well, you see, I'm not a revenue officer after all. I'm just a magazine writer up in these mountains, collecting materials, and, incidentally,
smiling at Mary,
a wife. This has been the first real fun I've had since the Boston police riot.
You're not a Dod Gast?
Mary, who has been standing by Abner's side, now steps forward.
No, he ain't, Pa. We wanted to get married, but I couldn't think of running away like Laurence wanted me to, and the whole ridge thinking me, a Setzer, had run away with a revenoor. And then I could have never come back, for you'd have got us.
Yes, he woulda, so he woulda.
And we wanted to be married right away, but we couldn't think of no way to prove that Laurence wasn't no revenoor, so we...
Mary happened to remember a hold-up like this, which she told me about when we were over at Boone, and then...
Walt interrupting with a loud guffaw.
And then you send all this to get us?
Mary and Abner nod a smiling assent.
Yes, and I'm going to get a corking good story out of it, too.
Pa, you said a revenoor wasn't nothing going to get you. Why, he ain't even a revenue's picture, and he got you.
Noah, unable to restrain his rage.
Dad burn you, ding dang you, and you hain't no revenoor. If I'd known that, Dad burn you. By jumping Jupiter's horn snake, I'll not stand for it. I'll...
Hold on there, Pa. You've done give your promise, and Walt and Mose and Sank all heard you.
Yes, you did, Noah, and you did.
We got you, Pa, and you can't go back on your promise. So we're going to get married and stay on right here.
Noah, violently.
Damn you, Dod limb you, you humduzzled...
He recovers his composure, takes a quart bottle, goes to the still, and fills it from the worm.
I'll get even with you. Just wait. I'll get you, darn you.
He hands the bottle to Abner.
Here, take this here quart and clear out of here and stay out and...
He stands, shaking his fists at them as they go off laughing. There is just the trace of a grin on his face.
Dod Gast you both!
Curtain. End of Dod Gast Ye Both by Hubert Heffner.